What a week this has been. I've made some progress with the Battleship project from the Odin Project. I've redesigned Liquid Ignition, completed a intermediate FrontEndMentor challenge, nearly had a fight with my WordPress site, and then I was starting to learn a little bit about JavaScript games. Welcome to the series where I show you what I'm doing to try and become a web developer. My name is Craig and this is week 32. Let's dive right in to see how much time I've spent on web development this week. The total time this week is 17 hours 55 minutes. That's broken up as 3 hours 55 for tutorials, 12 hours 25 for projects, and 1 hour 35 for career stuff. Again, total time is down compared against my usual time. That's because it was Easter Monday this week. But generally, I'm quite happy with the results and what I've accomplished this week. I felt like I've learned quite a bit this week. But first up, we've got Liquid Ignition, and what I've been learning here is that I want to learn a little bit more about scroll animations. I do have a scroll animation going on with my website, but it's not brilliant and I do want to improve on it. I think scroll animations are a really good way of making like your website kind of, pop, kind of grab the user's attention, stuff like that. So yeah, it's definitely something I want to look into a little bit more. Then there was the JavaScript games. So this was just a course on Skillshare. I believe the teacher was called Chris Dixon. I'll have the course linked down below if you want to check it out. I basically just followed along with the course. It was a really good introduction, I'll be honest. It was really well put together. It used the HTML5 canvas element, so I was learning a little bit more about that, which is brilliant, and kind of updating it dynamically with JavaScript. There are a few issues with the game. So the game was Pong, the ball bouncing around and stuff like that. And yeah, it's a very basic version of that. There's definitely a lot that could be improved, but as I said, really great introduction there. Next up, we've got Google Analytics and Tag Manager. So one thing I've realized with redoing my portfolio using modules, and the page basically reloads depending on the navigation clicked, I can no longer tell which pages people have visited, which is not brilliant. And what I wanted to achieve was basically fire events based on the links clicked. So they would click, the About Me page, and it would fire an event to my Google Analytics which said About Me is being clicked. Or they've clicked on my YouTube channel link, something like that. So that's what I want to achieve. And it does and it doesn't work, I'll be honest. So, well, it doesn't work, but if I go into Tag Manager and do the debug mode there, it seems to work. It just doesn't seem to work on my website. So that's a little bit annoying. I'm generally kind of a little bit frustrated with myself because if I built my portfolio with React and Router DOM, I would still get different pages. So I'm just kind of kicking myself a little bit there. But this is definitely something I want to look into, using Google Analytics and improving my website, stuff like that. Next up is WordPress, and I'm learning that I just do not like WordPress at all. I obviously need to use it a little bit more to get familiar with it, so that's what I'm planning to do. I've got a WordPress site called Diabetic Davison, and what I'm planning to do is just write about code and stuff like that on there. So I'm hoping that using it a bit more will, help me learn it. But right now I just really don't like WordPress, and for some reason it really slows down my computer or browser, whatever I'm running it on. With the Odin Project, so Progress Battleships, I'm quite happy with where I'm at, but I am learning that I do need to kind of take a step back at times and think about what I'm doing, plan it out a little bit more. My code's a little bit disorganized and I want to improve on that. And then finally what I've been learning is about .NET actually. So I see a lot of job advertisements saying .NET would be beneficial or nice to have. So I was like, I'll learn a little bit. I don't want to go too deep into it. I just want to know what it is, how to use it, a few things like that. And I took a course on Skillshare. It was about a 30-minute course, something like that. Honestly, it was god awful. Like, I still have no idea what .NET is. Like, ridiculous. So what I'm planning to do next week is so I found another course which introduces .NET, but I think that's like a 3-hour course. I believe it's like going from nothing to almost full stack. I don't know if I want to do that, So I may go down the route of doing YouTube to learn about .NET. That's everything I've been learning this week. Let's dive over the computer and see what I have been building. Okay, so as you can tell, I've got the course link for the Pong game. We'll just go over that one really quickly. So as I said, it's got a spacebar to play, and then you use the arrow keys to go up and down. I think the computer, oops, I just lost. The computer kind of moves not quite at the same speed as the ball, so it is pretty easy to win, although at this moment I'm not winning very well. But there's a few kind of issues, as I said, like there, I've just kind of basically won straight away. I think the speed of the computer needs tweaking. I also haven't tested this, but I don't think it will work on a mobile or touch device. As I said, you need to press the space bar to play, and then it's the up and down arrows to move it. So some further work needs doing there to kind of make it work on touch. But yeah, it's not bad. Pretty basic, but it was really fun actually building it. And as I said, the teacher was really good. I felt like that was well explained. So definitely go check it out. Next up, we got this FrontEndMentor challenge, intermediate challenge, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. The JavaScript was to do with a burger bar and then this kind of carousel. So these buttons kind of move the pictures and actually changes the text. And then, as I said, you've got the burger bar there. I'm not sold on this desktop. Something's not quite right. So the ratio in my mind should be 2/3 to 1/3. And it doesn't quite look like I've got that right. I've tried changing it a fair amount, but it just doesn't seem to work that well. There's also this overlay. I think that works quite well. The images are now changing. I'm changing the images within JavaScript, and I first check the screen size. If the screen size is less than, I think it was 860, I decided I'd use the mobile version, otherwise I would use the desktop version. Again, a little bit of an issue with the attribution down at the bottom. So I generally quite enjoyed doing this challenge. It was interesting. It wasn't too difficult. There's a few issues, like the image doesn't look great. And I think that's because I've got it filling the space. Next up, we've got Battleships. Really basic UI at the minute. So you can enter your name or you can just click Let's Play. So this is kind of where the player would set up their ships, and then the AI, obviously you can't see the AIs. So right now they're actually both in the same spot. I've got the player ships just hard-coded right now. I think there's an issue with the AI as well. So the other day when I was testing this, I basically clicked through all the squares, and when I filled the board to play against the AI, the player board, so the hits received from the AI, was only about 80% filled. So it wasn't kind of hitting every time. So that's something I want to look into. I also want to look into kind of the order. Right now it goes as player turn, AI, and then probably it would do game over. But I might do player turn, check game over, then go AI, check game over, and just keep doing that. So there's a lot to do. I think it's going to take me a bit of time. I also really need to organize my code because it is a mess right now. That's everything for week 32. I've applied for 2 more jobs this week. Now, normally I don't actually send a covering letter with my job applications. It was some advice someone gave me. But this week I decided to send covering letters for these 2. We'll see if it makes any difference or not. I've also been looking into Upwork a little bit, but I am really struggling with imposter syndrome. I'm looking at these jobs, I'm like, could I not do it? And I'm just like, I probably could do it, that's the problem. But I'm just a bit like, I'm not good enough. So that's something I need to work on. I might just apply for a job on Upwork and see what happens. Next week is going to be continuing Battleships. Again, I doubt I'll finish it. I want to take my time with it a little bit more. Definitely want to work on the UI aspect of it all. See if I can make that look really appealing. I want to complete another FrontEndMentor challenge. This time, really push myself. So I'll probably be doing either another intermediate or maybe higher. I don't know. I want to look at .NET again, as I said. Just some kind of basic understanding would be really nice. And finally, I may, if I get time, work on my WordPress site again. I just really don't like how it looks at the minute, and I want to publish some more articles there. Links to everything mentioned will be in the description down below if you want to go check them out, along with my portfolio and GitHub if you want to see what I've been building. As always, it would be great to get your thoughts, advice, and feedback. If you have enjoyed this video, please hit that like button down below, and if you'd like to see more, then please subscribe. I hope you all have a good day, and I'll catch you later.